Hey Golf Fanatics, Erika Larkin here, Director of Instruction at the club at Creighton Farms. So many golfers struggle with getting comfortable over the ball with their irons, visually trying to get that leading edge lined up properly, where to put the handle in space. There's lots of confusion and concern over whether or not their setup is good. So we're going to go through a few of those checkpoints and more right after this. Have you ever wondered if you're actually setting your irons properly square to the golf ball? Visually, a lot of people struggle with how the face looks, how the shaft looks, and so I've got a couple checkpoints for you to think about. Number one, understand how your tool is designed. We have a flat sole, and if we sole the club on a surface, you can see that naturally the shaft of the golf club is leaning forward. The leading edge, which is that lowest part of your iron, and all the grooves, which are parallel to it, should be perpendicular to your target line. So what I would suggest that you do is get an alignment rod and set up a couple different ways with it to see how everything looks to your eye and if your club is matching the alignments. So number one, put a rod down perpendicular to your target line, but in line with your body face on. And then set your club face exactly next to it. And if you've soled the club naturally, the handle of the club should sit just a little bit left of that alignment rod. So you can see how that looks here on the ground. If your handle is behind the alignment rod visually like this, that would put your hands behind the ball. It would probably twist the face and add unnecessary loft. So we want to sole the club at the loft that it was designed. So get the leading edge up against something flush, and then the bottom of the club is flat on the ground. You should see the handle a little bit out ahead. Depending on the design of your iron, you may have a little bit more offset at the bottom. There's sort of a curve to the hosel. So yours might look a little bit different than a different set of golf clubs, what somebody else is doing. So just make sure the leading edge is square, and that again, the handle of the club is a little bit out in front of the club head, just like that. So let your arms hang naturally from here. That's checkpoint number one. Checkpoint number two is to turn the alignment rod the other way. And we can pretend there's a golf ball on top of it. I can't physically balance it, but set your club face on the rod, take your stance, and try to see that the leading edge is actually perpendicular looking to the alignment rod. If you notice how I'm twisting the club face open and closed, depending on how I would grip it, a lot of folks set up and that face is shut or it's a little bit open relative to that straight line. So establish some visuals for yourself to line up for. If you've got some sidewalk chalk, some baby powder, you can actually paint lines down on the ground. Some of the strike spray, powder spray, you can use that and actually keep the lines visually on the ground while you're practicing, so it gives you some alignment measurements to match up to. But if you're just at home practicing or you want a quick check, this is something that I would want you to see for yourself. So neutral grip, neutral face. By the way, the leading edge, if I lift up like this, is really measuring straight along almost my spine of my body, so that's a good check as well. I bound down to the golf ball. The face matches up to the target line, handle's a little bit ahead of my club head. I'm going to give this a swing. Perfect. The ball went nice and straight. So there's just a few key checkpoints for you to think about with your irons. I think looking at your tool, getting comfortable with visually how it looks, and not manipulating the club to be too far forward or back to please what you think looks square. Look at it, give it a couple quick checks, and I know it's going to help you hit your irons better throughout your bag. This would go for wedges all the way up through your long irons. So try this in your setup the next time you practice and play. I hope it helps you out. Thanks so much for watching. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I'll get back to as many as I can. And if you think this tip would help a friend, please pass it along. Use the link in our email and forward it to another golfer that would benefit from our tips. We'd love to have more viewers like you. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. See you next time here on Golf Fanatics.